Ladies and gentlemen, life is a journey of choices. Every step we take, every bond we form shapes the course of our existence. And one of the most significant choices a woman makes is whom she allows into her life. A man can be a source of inspiration, or he can become a barrier to her growth. So today, let's talk about what a woman must avoid in a man. Not as a rule book, but as a clarity that helps you see beyond the surface. Because if you choose blindly, you will pay the price, not just in years, but in the very essence of who you are. A man without vision is like a ship without a compass, drifting aimlessly in the vast ocean of life. He wakes up every day, but he does not know why. He works, but he does not know for what purpose. His decisions are random, his actions are reactive, and his life is dictated by circumstances rather than intention. Such a man is not in control of his destiny, he is simply moving wherever life pushes him. If a woman attaches herself to such a man, she is not stepping into a partnership, but into confusion. Because if he does not know where he is going, then where will he take her? A woman must understand that vision is not just about career or ambition, it is about a deep sense of direction in life. A man with vision does not just work for money, he builds something greater than himself. He is not just trying to survive, he is striving to create a meaningful existence. He sees beyond today, beyond temporary pleasures, beyond momentary desires. His life is driven by purpose, by a clear understanding of why he is here, and in that clarity he creates stability, not just for himself, but for the woman who chooses to walk alongside him. When a man lacks vision, his life becomes a cycle of the same repeated struggles. He moves from job to job, from one idea to another, from one decision to the next, without any real progress. He makes promises he cannot keep because he himself does not know where he is headed. A woman who ties herself to such a man will find herself caught in his instability. She will invest her time, her energy, and her emotions only to realize that she is moving in circles. A man without vision is easily influenced by his surroundings. Because he has no internal compass, he follows the crowd. If today people say this is the trend, he follows it. If tomorrow they say something else, he changes direction again. He is shaped by the opinions of others rather than by his own convictions. A woman must ask herself, does she want to be led by a man who is led by the wind? A man who changes his course not because of deep understanding, but because he does not know his own? More dangerously, a man without vision becomes a man who seeks validation from others. Because he has no direction of his own, he will look to his friends, to society, to temporary pleasures to give him a sense of identity. He will try to prove himself through things: expensive clothes, cars, superficial status, because he does not have a strong foundation within. And when a woman enters his life, she may find herself reduced to another one of those things, a possession rather than a partner, an object of his validation rather than a respected individual. A woman who desires a meaningful life must choose a man who has a clear path, a man who has thought deeply about his purpose, who has built his principles, who understands what he is working toward. This does not mean he has to be rich or successful at the moment, but he must have a sense of direction. His decisions should align with his values, and his values should align with something greater than himself. With such a man, a woman does not have to constantly question the future. She can trust that his steps are taken with intention. Because when a man has vision, he does not just bring a woman into his life, he includes her in his purpose. He does not just love her in words, he makes space for her in his journey. He does not just make promises, he builds a future. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the kind of man a woman must choose. Respect is the foundation of any relationship. Without it, there can be no trust, no security, and no true love. A man who does not respect a woman does not see her as an equal, as a human being with her own thoughts, dreams, and emotions. Instead, he sees her as something to control, to use, or to mold according to his desires. A woman must understand that love without respect is an illusion, because real love cannot exist where there is no honor. If a man does not respect you, he does not truly value you. A man who lacks respect reveals himself in many ways. It is in the way he speaks to you. Does he listen when you talk, or does he dismiss your words? Does he interrupt you, belittle your opinions, or make you feel small? A man who constantly disregards your voice is telling you that he does not see your thoughts as important. And if he does not respect your mind, he will never truly value your presence. A woman must pay attention to how a man speaks, not just in moments of love, but in moments of disagreement, because it is in those moments that his true nature is revealed. Respect is also shown through actions. A man may say he loves you, but what do his actions communicate? Does he consider your feelings before making decisions that affect you? Does he honor his commitments, or does he treat them lightly? A man who lacks respect will break promises without a second thought. He will apologize when it suits him, but repeat the same behavior again. And a woman who continues to accept disrespect is silently telling him that it is okay to treat her this way. Disrespect does not always come in loud, obvious forms. Sometimes it comes in subtle ways, mocking your dreams, making fun of your emotions, or ignoring your needs. A man who dismisses your ambitions or calls your struggles small things is not someone who respects you. Respect means valuing what is important to you, even if he does not fully understand it. If a man constantly makes you feel like you are overreacting, like your feelings do not matter, he is not showing love. He is conditioning you to accept less than you deserve. One of the clearest signs of a man who lacks respect is how he treats other people. Watch how he speaks to waiters, how he treats his mother, how he talks about other women. A man who speaks badly about women in general will not suddenly treat you like a queen. A man who insults others, humiliates people for fun, or speaks with arrogance does not carry the spirit of respect. And if he does not respect people he has no reason to impress, one day he will turn that same disrespect toward you. A woman must also be careful not to mistake control for respect. Some men pretend to care, but in reality they want to dominate. They say, "I don't want you to do this," or "I don't want you to go there," and they frame it as love. But love does not mean ownership. A man who respects you does not try to control your choices. He trusts you to make your own. He does not see you as someone beneath him, but as someone worthy of standing beside him. In the end, a woman must understand that the way a man treats her is not a reflection of her worth, it is a reflection of who he is. Respect is not something you demand. It is something that must be present from the beginning. If a man does not respect you now, he will not respect you later. And a relationship without respect is not a partnership. It is a slow destruction of the soul. Responsibility is the mark of a man. It is not about age, status, or physical strength. It is about the ability to take ownership of one's life, decisions, and commitments. A man who fears responsibility is a man who refuses to grow. He wants the benefits of a relationship, but not the duties that come with it. He enjoys companionship, but avoids commitment. He makes promises, but fails to follow through. Such a man is not ready for a meaningful relationship. And a woman must recognize this before she invests her heart and time into someone who is unwilling to stand firm in life. A responsible man does not blame others for his failures. He does not make excuses for his shortcomings. When something goes wrong, he does not point fingers. He looks within himself and asks, "What can I do to make this better?" But a man who fears responsibility will always look for someone else to take the fall. He will blame his past, his family, his circumstances, and sometimes even the woman in his life. If he is struggling financially, it is someone else's fault. If his career is not progressing, the world is against him. This man does not take charge of his own life. And if a woman is not careful, she will find herself carrying his burdens while he continues to avoid them. A man who fears responsibility is inconsistent. Today he speaks of big dreams, tomorrow he has abandoned them. He makes commitments when he is in a good mood, but the moment difficulty comes, he withdraws. He tells a woman, "I will always be there for you," but when she truly needs him, he is nowhere to be found. A responsible man understands that words mean nothing without action. But a man who fears responsibility uses words to manipulate. He will say what a woman wants to hear without any intention of standing by it. In relationships, responsibility is not just about financial stability. It is about emotional and mental stability. A man who fears responsibility runs away when things get difficult. If there is a conflict, he avoids communication. If the woman he loves is going through something painful, he distances himself instead of standing by her. He is present when everything is easy, but disappears when strength is required. A woman must ask herself, does she want to be with a man who is only there for the good times? Because life will not always be smooth, and in moments of hardship, the true nature of a man is revealed. A man who avoids responsibility often looks for ways to escape. He may turn to distractions, excessive entertainment, alcohol, or unhealthy habits to avoid facing real life. He may expect the woman in his life to handle everything, her responsibilities and his, and in doing so, he slowly drains her energy, her time, and her happiness. A woman must understand that love is not about carrying a man on her back. It is about walking together equally. If a man expects her to do all the work while he remains passive, she is not in a partnership. She is in servitude. Many women make the mistake of believing that a man will change once he is in a committed relationship. They think once we get married, he will become responsible. Once we have children, he will take things seriously. But responsibility is not something that magically appears. It is a mindset that must already exist. If a man is irresponsible before marriage, he will be irresponsible after marriage. If he avoids responsibility now, he will avoid it later. A woman must not fall into the illusion that love alone can change a man who refuses to grow. A woman's life is too precious to be spent raising a man who refuses to mature. She is not his mother, his caretaker, or his rescuer. A responsible man does not need to be pushed. He takes initiative. He understands that love is not just about feelings. It is about duty, consistency, and effort. A woman must choose a man who is willing to stand firm in life, who does not run when things become difficult, and who does not leave her to carry the weight of the world alone. Control is not love. A man who truly loves a woman does not seek to own her, change her, or confine her. He respects her individuality and supports her growth. But a man who seeks to control a woman does so out of his own insecurities and fears. He is not driven by love. He is driven by the need to dominate. He wants to dictate what she wears, where she goes, whom she speaks to, and even how she thinks. This is not a relationship, it is a cage. And a woman who does not recognize these signs early will find herself losing her freedom, her identity, and eventually her happiness. Control often disguises itself as care. At first it may seem like he is simply being protective. He says, "I don't want you to go out alone at night," or "I think that dress is too revealing." A woman may mistake this for love, believing that he is looking out for her. But slowly the restrictions increase. He starts deciding what she should wear, whom she should talk to, what kind of work she should do. His concern is not about her well-being. It is about making her submit to his will. And once control begins, it only grows stronger over time. A controlling man often uses emotional manipulation to justify his actions. He may say, "If you love me, you will listen to me," or "I only want what's best for you." He makes the woman feel guilty for making her own choices. If she tries to express her thoughts, he dismisses them, saying she does not understand. Slowly she begins to doubt herself. She starts asking for his permission instead of making her own decisions. And this is exactly what he wants, to make her dependent on him, so she no longer trusts her own judgment. One of the most dangerous aspects of a controlling man is that he isolates the woman from her support system. He does not want her to be influenced by family or friends who might make her see the truth. He may say, "Your friends don't really care about you," or "Your family doesn't understand our relationship." Over time, she finds herself alone, cut off from the people who love her. And once she is isolated, it becomes even harder for her to break free because she feels like she has no one to turn to. A woman must understand that a healthy relationship is built on mutual respect, not control. A loving man does not dictate her choices, he respects them. He does not treat her like a child who needs to be managed. He sees her as an equal partner. He does not fear her independence, he celebrates it. If a man truly loves a woman, he will support her dreams, not suppress them. He will encourage her to grow, not force her to shrink. The truth is, a controlling man is not strong, he is weak. A man who is secure in himself does not need to dominate others. But a man who is insecure feels threatened by a woman who is confident, intelligent, and independent. He tries to control her because he fears losing her. But love is not about possession, it is about trust. And if a man does not trust a woman to make her own decisions, then what he feels is not love, but fear disguises authority. A woman must never allow herself to be controlled in the name of love. Love does not demand submission, it encourages freedom. Love does not silence, it listens. A woman is not born to be someone's property. She is born to live fully, to express herself, to follow her own path. And the right man will walk beside her, not ahead of her with a leash in his hands. A woman's worth is not something that can be measured by how she looks, what she owns, or how much she does for a man. Her worth is inherent. It exists because she exists. Yet many men fail to recognize this. A man who does not value a woman's worth will take her presence for granted. He will not appreciate her kindness, her sacrifices, or the love she gives. Instead, he will see her as someone who is simply there, convenient, replaceable, and undeserving of respect. A woman must understand that if a man does not see her value, it is not because she lacks it, but because he is blind to it. A man who does not value a woman often shows it through neglect. He does not prioritize her needs, does not listen to her concerns, and does not invest effort into the relationship. He assumes she will always be there, no matter how little he gives in return. Such a man believes that a woman's love is automatic, that once she commits to him, he no longer needs to cherish her. But love, like any living thing, requires nourishment. If a woman is constantly giving but receiving nothing in return, she will eventually find herself emotionally exhausted, questioning why she even stays. Some men fail to value a woman because they do not even value themselves. A man who does not respect himself cannot fully respect another person. He may lack self-discipline, self-awareness, or even a sense of purpose. In his eyes, relationships are not about deep connection, but about filling an emptiness within himself. He will seek validation from a woman, but he will not truly appreciate her presence. And when a man does not recognize his own worth, he will struggle to recognize the worth of anyone else. A man who does not value a woman often compares her to others. He may make comments about how other women look, how they behave, or how they treat their partners. This is his way of making a woman feel inadequate, as though she must constantly prove her worth to him. But a woman is not meant to compete for a man's attention. She is not an object to be measured against others. If a man cannot see her uniqueness, if he constantly makes her feel like she is not enough, then he is the one who is unworthy, not her. There are also men who only value a woman when they need something from her. When they are struggling, they lean on her for emotional support. When they are lost, they look to her for guidance. But the moment they get what they want, they forget who stood by them. A woman must be careful of men who only show affection when they need help, but disappear when she needs the same in return. If love is only present in times of convenience, then it is not real love. It is selfishness disguised as affection. A man who truly values a woman does not wait until she is gone to appreciate her. He does not take her kindness for granted, assuming she will always be there. He cherishes her presence in his life, not because he needs something from her, but because he sees her worth for what it is. He does not wait for special occasions to express his gratitude. He makes it known in his everyday actions. A man who values a woman does not just say it, he shows it. A woman must never lower her worth to make a man recognize it. If a man does not see her value from the beginning, she should not waste time trying to prove it. Her worth is not determined by how much she tolerates, how much she gives, or how long she stays. The right man will see it without needing to be convinced. And a woman must remember, when she knows her worth, she will never settle for a man who does not. Trust is the foundation of any meaningful relationship. Without it, love becomes fragile, full of doubt and insecurity. A man who is dishonest destroys that foundation. He manipulates the truth to serve his own interests, twisting words and situations to cover up his mistakes or to gain an advantage. He is not concerned with the emotional toll his dishonesty takes on a woman. He only cares about maintaining his image or getting what he wants. A woman must understand that honesty is not just about telling the truth when it is convenient. It is about integrity, about being truthful even when it is difficult. If a man cannot be trusted with small things, he certainly cannot be trusted with the important ones. A dishonest man often begins with small lies. At first they seem harmless, excuses for being late, slight exaggerations about his past, or little details left out of a conversation, but these small lies serve as a test. If he can lie without consequences, he will continue. Over time, his dishonesty grows, and the relationship becomes filled with half-truths and deceptions. The woman begins to feel uneasy, sensing that something is not right, but she may ignore the feeling, hoping that things will change. However, dishonesty does not disappear. It only becomes more sophisticated. One of the greatest dangers of being with a dishonest man is the emotional turmoil it creates. When a woman constantly questions whether she is being told the truth, she begins to lose her peace of mind. She wonders if she is overreacting, if she is being paranoid, if she is the problem. But in reality, her instincts are warning her. A dishonest man will often try to make her feel guilty for questioning him, saying, "Don't you trust me?" Or "Why are you always accusing me?" This is his way of shifting the focus away from his lies and making her doubt herself. Dishonesty in a relationship is not just about spoken words, it is about broken promises. A man who constantly says he will do something but never follows through is being dishonest. Whether it is something as small as calling when he said he would, or as big as committing to a future together, his words become meaningless. A woman must understand that consistency is the proof of honesty. If a man's words and actions do not align, he is not trustworthy. A dishonest man is also secretive. He hides his phone, deletes messages, or becomes defensive when asked simple questions. He keeps parts of his life separate, creating different versions of himself depending on who he is with. He avoids deep conversations, giving vague answers when asked about his feelings, his intentions, or his past. A woman must pay attention to these signs. A man who values honesty does not feel the need to hide things. He is transparent because he has nothing to fear. Some men justify dishonesty by saying they lie to protect the woman's feelings. They say, "I didn't tell you because I didn't want to hurt you." But the truth is, they did not tell her because they wanted to avoid accountability. A man who truly cares does not protect a woman with lies. He respects her with honesty. He understands that even difficult truths are better than comforting lies. A relationship built on lies is like a house with a weak foundation. It may stand for a while, but eventually it will collapse. A woman must recognize that honesty is not just an expectation, it is a necessity. Love cannot thrive in an environment of secrecy and deception. A man who is dishonest will always put his own interests above the relationship. If he is willing to lie about small things, he will lie about bigger things. A woman must choose a man who understands that trust is not a game, it is a responsibility. And a man who cannot be truthful is a man who does not deserve her trust at all. A man without vision is like a ship without a destination. He moves, but he does not know where he is going. Life is not meant to be lived aimlessly, and neither is a relationship. A man who lacks vision and purpose does not think beyond the present moment. He does not plan for the future. He does not strive for growth, and he does not take responsibility for shaping his life. He wakes up every day, but he has no true direction. And a woman who attaches herself to such a man will find herself drifting along with him, stuck in a cycle of stagnation. A man's vision is what drives him. It is not just about making money or achieving success. It is about having a reason to get up in the morning, a deeper sense of purpose that pushes him forward. A man who lacks vision lacks passion. He is content with just surviving rather than thriving. He does not seek to better himself, to learn, to evolve. And when a woman is with such a man, she will constantly have to be the one to push, to motivate, to carry the weight of the relationship's progress. But love is not about dragging someone forward. It is about walking together toward a shared future. A woman must understand that a man without purpose will eventually become a burden. Without direction, he will always depend on others to give his life meaning. He will expect his partner to fill the emptiness he feels inside, to inspire him, to make decisions for him. But no woman can give a man the purpose he refuses to find for himself. A man must first know who he is and where he is going before he can truly build a life with someone else. A man with no vision will struggle with commitment. Commitment requires a long-term mindset, the ability to see beyond the present and make decisions for the future. But a man who lacks purpose lives only for the moment. He avoids responsibility, refuses to plan ahead, and remains stuck in cycles of temporary pleasure. He may say he loves a woman, but if he has no direction, where is that love supposed to lead? A woman must ask herself, does she want to build a future with a man who does not even know where his own life is headed? A lack of vision often leads to instability. A man without purpose jumps from one thing to another, one job to the next, one idea to another, never fully committing to anything. He may talk about big dreams, but he never takes action to achieve them. His words sound promising, but they never turn into results. And a woman who believes in his potential may find herself waiting endlessly for him to become the man he claims he wants to be. But potential means nothing without action. A woman must look at what a man is doing now, not just what he says he will do in the future. A man's purpose should not just be about himself, it should be about serving something greater than his own needs. A man with vision thinks beyond himself. He seeks to contribute, to create, to leave an impact. He understands that his life has value not just for his own success, but for the people around him. A man who lacks this understanding remains self-centered. He does not think about how his actions affect others. He does not care about growth, leadership, or responsibility. And when a man is disconnected from purpose, he is disconnected from true fulfillment. A woman must choose a man who is going somewhere in life, who is passionate about something greater than himself. A man who has vision does not need to be pushed. He moves with purpose. He does not just exist, he builds, he grows, he leads. When a woman is with a man who has vision, she does not have to wonder where their relationship is going because he is already on a path. And the right man will not just have a vision for himself, he will have a vision that includes her, one where they walk side by side toward a meaningful future. ChatGPT said, a woman must understand that the man she chooses to walk with will shape the direction of her life. Love is not just about feelings, it is about wisdom, discernment, and choosing a partner who uplifts rather than diminishes. A man who lacks respect, honesty, vision, or integrity is not just a burden, he is a roadblock to a woman's growth. You are not meant to shrink yourself to fit into a man's world. You are not meant to be controlled, disrespected, or undervalued. You are meant to stand tall, to be cherished, to be with someone who sees your worth without you having to prove it. The right man will not make you question your value. He will remind you of it every single day. So, do not settle for less than you deserve. Do not hold on to a man in the hope that he will change when all the signs show he will not. A woman's life is not a waiting room for a man to become better. Choose a partner who is already walking in integrity, who already respects and honors you, because the right man will not just love you, he will lead with wisdom, walk with purpose, and build a future that you can both be proud of.